One of the big plans by J.J. Abrams for Episode 9 is to not just have a lot of connections to the prequels and the originals, but also Star Wars Rebels, the animated TV series by Dave Filoni. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of people are very curious about has all to do with the new characters that will be introduced in this movie, and exactly how they will be utilized by J.J. Abrams in this story. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, it offers a huge leak that actually leads us to the character of Ezra Bridger, and his involvement within the second act of the movie. So what's really interesting about all of this is that a description of Rey on board of the Sledgehammer ship with Finn, Poe, and Leia, where it's described that Rey is examining a holocron of some kind that is glowing in a blue hue. It's described to be the holocron of Ezra Bridger that he left behind in the Lost City years ago, that was retrieved by Rey. It's described that Rey is holding it with both of her hands, where it's said that the holocron offers knowledge to Rey about a location in the unknown regions that Leia and the Resistance eventually go to in the film. It said that Ezra's holocron will play a role in the second act of the film that leads Rey and her team on their path to a certain mission in the movie within the unknown regions. Additionally, a description of Rey handing Maz Kanata the staff of Ezra Bridger once Kanata docks her pirate ship to the Sledgehammer. It's described that Maz knows the Jedi and the relic that it belongs to. Maz is actually described to have a connection to some of the Rebels characters in the movie by JJ. So I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this and as to why this is an excellent way for J.J. Abrams to connect Episode 9 to Star Wars Rebels content. So the character of Ezra Bridger, we do know that there are going to be quite a number of Easter eggs of the character in, of course, the Lost City itself within the story of this movie. So first things first, I want to go over Ezra Bridger's holocron. Now, to this day, we do know that holocrons are going to be a big deal moving forward in the Disney canon of the Star Wars universe. We do know that Disney made a huge attempt at really introducing holocrons in Solo: A Star Wars Story within the actual den of Dryden Voss. So moving forward, I want to go over the importance of Ezra Bridger's holocron in the film. Now, it's described to play a major role in the second act of the movie that leads Rey and her team to a certain mission in the actual story of Episode 9 within the unknown regions itself. So, the unknown regions is indeed going to be a location within Episode 9, and that it will actually open up a lot of questions and answers for what happened to Ezra Bridger at the very end of Star Wars Rebels Season 4. So this absolutely does match directly up with why J.J. Abrams had a lot of discussions with Dave Filoni while he was writing the script and while J.J. was also shooting the film over in the UK and various different locations as well. So the other thing that I really do find very interesting that ties into the sequel trilogy, as well as Star Wars Rebels, is that Daisy Ridley actually hands Maz Kanata the staff of Ezra Bridger, and Maz Kanata is actually described to find this staff very familiar, that she knows who it actually wants or belongs to, and that is of course the character of Ezra Bridger. So we do know that there is going to be a character named and/or codenamed EB in Star Wars Episode 9, which most definitely and obviously stands for Ezra Bridger, and that this character is in his 50s and is actually a part of Maz Kanata's crew. So it's very possible that this is actually going to get handed down to Ezra Bridger in Episode 9, as we do know that the EB character at some point in time in this movie does indeed use a staff against one of the stormtroopers within the third act of the film. So you can really see how all the dots are starting to connect here and how everything is really starting to fit together like a puzzle. So the other thing that I do want to go over is the Sledgehammer, alright? Now we do know that the Sledgehammer is a massive Resistance ship that is able to rip through Star Destroyers as if they were toys. So this is the location in which Rey brings Ezra Bridger's holocron on board of. And this is where, Rey basically examines the holocron and learns more about it and the character of Ezra Bridger. So, the fact that Ezra's holocron plays a major role in the second act of the movie, and how it leads Rey to a certain mission in the second act of this film within the unknown regions, not just for herself, but also for the Resistance. It definitely does raise a lot of questions as to exactly where J.J. Abrams is going to bring us in the unknown regions and the importance of it all. Now, the other thing that I do want to go over is whether or not Star Wars Rebels content is really going to be good for Star Wars Episode 9. A lot of people have been expressing their concerns and, of course, their joy about these decisions. And I will say that I think it's a great idea. I think it's a step in the right direction. It's probably the best thing to do in order to make all content feel interconnected, right? Make all the continuity feel interconnected within the Star Wars franchise. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.